We live in an age where the volume of your voice often dictates your worth, a chaotic storm of digital noise and constant shouting. Yet, amidst the clamor of 1,000 opinions, true greatness often walks in silence, unnoticed by the crowds who only seek the temporary spotlight's glare. If we look back through the corridors of history, we find that the most enduring structures were never built upon the foundation of empty, hollow promises. Long ago, a great kingdom was split in two by a bottomless canyon, a physical manifestation of the divide between their dreams and their harsh, cold reality. The divide was absolute, a jagged wound in the earth that stopped all progress, leaving the people stranded on either side of a terrifying and silent void. Fear gripped the hearts of the citizens, for without a way across, their once unified land was slowly dying, isolated by the very earth they called home. They looked for a savior, someone with the vision to bridge the impossible gap, but all they heard were the echoes of their own mounting, desperate anxieties. High above the suffering, in the gilded halls of the palace, the elite gathered to discuss the problem, their voices echoing through the marble and gold. The king summoned the most famous architects of the land, men known for their eloquence and their ability to paint grand visions with their flowing poetic words. They spoke of arches that would touch the stars and spans that would defy the laws of nature, competing to see who could sound the most brilliant. But while the air was thick with the scent of expensive perfume and the sound of grand speeches, not a single stone had yet been moved. They unrolled blueprints of gold, maps of a future that looked beautiful on paper but lacked the weight of reality or any true, practical foundation. Every line was perfect, every curve a masterpiece of geometry, yet these men had never felt the rough texture of a real stone in their hands. They debated the aesthetics of the railings and the color of the marble, while the people at the canyon's edge waited for a way to cross. To them, the bridge was a concept to be won in an argument, a trophy of intellect rather than a service to be rendered to the kingdom. They called their endless meetings a grand vision, but in truth, it was merely the paralysis of pride, hidden behind the curtain of empty, useless display. As the months passed, the laughter in the palace grew louder, even as the bridge remained a ghost, a dream that refused to take a physical shape. Even the king began to realize that his finest minds were providing nothing but air, their talent consumed by the need to be seen and praised. A plan without action is just a lie we tell ourselves to feel important, a house of cards waiting for the first real breeze to fall. But far from the light of the throne room, in the damp shadows of the canyon floor, a different kind of story was beginning to unfold. While the architects spoke of the sky, one man had chosen the depths, moving away from the spotlight to where the real work needed to begin. This was the domain of Rupachara, an old stonecutter who had spent his life speaking through his hammer rather than his tongue, a man of grit. He did not seek the king's gold or the architect's praise. He only sought to answer the call of the stones that waited to be shaped. His silence was not a lack of thought, but a reservoir of strength, a focus so deep that the noise of the world could not penetrate. Day after day, he descended into the dark, carrying the weight of the kingdom on his shoulders, while the world above remained blissfully and foolishly unaware. He worked where the light did not reach, building foundations that no one would ever see, because he knew that the strongest things start from below. Every strike of his hammer was a word in a silent prayer, a commitment to a truth that didn't need an audience to be valid or real. The canyon was immense, and he was but a single man, yet the steady rhythm of his work began to echo through the silence of the abyss. He did not resent the men in silk. He simply didn't have time for them, for the stones demanded his full and absolute presence at every moment. While the kingdom slept and the architects dreamed, the foundation of their survival was being laid, one heavy, silent stone at a single time. It was not beautiful yet, it was raw and moss-covered, but it held a strength that the golden blueprints in the palace could never hope to possess. He was the ghost in the machine, the silent architect of reality, building a legacy that would speak long after his own voice had completely faded. The contrast was jarring. The smell of perfume against the scent of wet earth, the sound of laughter against the rhythmic strike of the cold hammer. One side lived in the illusion of progress, while the other lived in the grueling reality of it, both separated by more than just height and depth. The world often rewards the pen, but it is the hammer that shapes the world, a truth that is often forgotten in the vanity of the court. Spring turned to summer, and summer to fall, yet the royal bridge remained a collection of sketches, a victim of its own impossible and arrogant ambition. In the canyon, the seasons were merely different challenges to overcome, as Rupachara's hair turned as white as the snow that blanketed his lonely, silent workshop. The bridge was rising, a skeleton of stone climbing out of the mist, built by the sweat and blood of a man who asked for nothing. The architects had become bored with their own ideas, the novelty of the project having worn off, replaced by the mundane comfort of their high status. But Rupachara was fueled by a different fire, the internal satisfaction of seeing a chaotic gap filled by the order of his own hard and honest work. He was a shadow builder, a man whose presence was felt in the growing weight of the bridge rather than the volume of his own personal claims. Vanity is a fleeting thing, a flame that burns bright but leaves only ash, while the work of the hands leaves a mark that time respects. He didn't need his name on a plaque. He knew the stones knew him, and that was enough for a soul that found peace in quiet action. Then, the peace was shattered not by the wind, but by the drums of war, as a rival army appeared on the horizon, seeking easy conquest. The kingdom was trapped. With the enemy at their backs and the abyss at their front, their grand civilization was suddenly a cage with no escape. The architects looked at their beautiful drawings, but they could not walk across gold-inked paper, nor could they shield their people with empty, hollow words. In the moment of crisis, the truth was laid bare. All the talk in the world cannot build a single inch of a path to safety. The shadow of destruction loomed large, and the people cried out for a miracle, something tangible to save them from the impending and violent storm. They stood at the precipice, looking into the white void, prepared to face their end as the sounds of battle grew closer and more terrifyingly loud. Through the fog and the fear, a sound emerged. Not a voice, but the solid, heavy rhythm of something real, and something very, very strong. And then, like a ghost turning into flesh, the bridge appeared. It was not gold, it was not marble, but it was there, solid and true. It was a miracle of engineering and endurance, a path of stone that had been built in the dark while the world above was busy talking. They didn't ask who built it, they only saw the hope it provided, a lifeline thrown to a drowning nation by a hand they never noticed. At the end of the span stood the stonecutter, his life's energy spent, his silent work finally complete just as the world needed it the most. One by one, then by the hundreds, the people crossed. The bridge didn't tremble, it didn't sway, it stood as firm as the man who made it. Even those who had lived by the tongue were forced to acknowledge the power of the hand as the stone bridge carried them to safety and peace. He had no more words to give, and he needed none. His testament was written in the granite beneath their feet, a message that would last forever. He died as he lived in silence, leaving behind a world that was better, safer, and more connected because he had chosen to do rather than say. The storm passed, and the light returned, shining upon a bridge that would become the heart of a new, humbler, and much stronger kingdom. The architect's scrolls were forgotten, lost to the mud, but every chisel mark on the bridge remained, a memory of a man who worked for truth. They called it the Bridge of Silence, a reminder that the loudest part of a building is the foundation, which never says a word to anyone. Generations would cross that span, never knowing the name of the man who built it, but feeling his strength in every solid step they took safely. True legacy is not about having your name remembered. It is about having your work endure, providing value long after you are gone from this earth. Nature accepted the bridge as its own, for it was built with the same patience and the same silent resolve as the mountains themselves stand firm. The world has changed, and the tools we use are different, but the fundamental law of achievement remains exactly the same as it was back then. We are still surrounded by architects of air, people who spend their lives building digital monuments of self-promotion and empty, hollow social media noise. He remembers the story of the stonecutter, and he realizes that his own life has been too loud and too empty for far too long now. He decides to stop talking about his dreams and start building them, one silent, focused action at a time, away from the need for validation. Every great thing starts with a single, quiet act of will, a refusal to be distracted by the clamor of the world's constant and shallow expectations. He finds that the silence is not empty, but full of potential, a space where his hands can finally do the talking for his tired heart. The world needs more stonecutters and fewer architects of air. It needs more people who build bridges and fewer people who just describe them beautifully. In every corner of the globe, the real work is being done by those who don't have time to tweet about it or post pictures. Our civilization is a testament to those who stayed in the shadows, who chose the grime of the workshop over the glitter of the royal palace. Even in the cracks of our hardest labor, life finds a way to flourish, a beauty that is earned through the struggle of honest and dedicated work. Act in silence. Let your sweat be the ink, and your results be the story that the world eventually reads when the time is finally right. The story is passed down, not as a command, but as a secret to a meaningful life, a way to find depth in a very shallow world. The stars witness our struggle, but they only shine on what is real, on the structures of character that we build when no one is watching. He has learned that the best way to lead is to serve, and the best way to speak is to act with a quiet and steady hand. A silent act of today becomes the grand monument of tomorrow, a cycle of creation that requires no applause to be truly and deeply effective. Knowledge is valuable, but the application of that knowledge is where the power lies, a bridge between what we know and what we actually achieve. Do not be fooled by the bright lights of the stage. The real drama of humanity is unfolding in the quiet places where things are being made. Every light you see is a result of someone's focused labor, a silent contribution to the collective strength of our modern and interconnected human society. The fog of vanity will always clear, leaving behind only what is solid and what is true, the enduring structures of our shared and silent history. Don't wait for the grand project. Start with the small stone in front of you. Every small action is a piece of the bridge you are building. Your hands are the most powerful tools you possess. Use them to create, to heal, and to build something that will outlast your own temporary voice. Nature does not hurry, yet everything is accomplished. It does not boast, yet its beauty is undeniable, and its strength is absolutely and totally beyond measure. Time is the ultimate judge of our work. It wears away the paint and the gold, leaving only the heart of what we have truly and deeply built. He has found his place in the world, not as a spectator or a critic, but as a builder, a silent contributor to the enduring spirit of life. We are all part of a long chain of builders, each of us adding our own silent stone to the bridges that connect the past to the future. The mark of a life well lived is not found in the headlines, but in the small silent impacts we leave on the world and the people around us. As the day ends, we ask ourselves, what have I built today? Was I an architect of air, or was I a stonecutter of true and lasting reality? Find your silence, find your workshop, and let your work begin in the quiet places where no one can see you but your own honest soul. Character is what remains when the storm has passed. It is the stone bridge that stays standing when the golden palaces of pride have all crumbled. Innovation is built on the shoulders of tradition, the silent wisdom of the past, providing the foundation for the loud and exciting discoveries of the modern future. There is a hidden beauty in functional things, a poetry in the way a bridge carries the weight of the world without ever complaining or seeking praise. Let your communication be meaningful. One silent, heartfelt letter is worth more than 1,000 empty comments in the digital and shallow void of the internet. Be proud of the marks of your labor. They are the map of your journey, the proof that you have engaged with the world in a real way. In the silence of the night, the bridge stands as a guardian, a silent testament to the power of a single human life dedicated to a great purpose. We are all building something. The question is, will your structure stand the test of time, or will it blow away with the first changing wind? No matter how far we travel into the future, the lessons of the past will always be our guide, the silent stones of history supporting our new dreams. Every act of service is a stone in the bridge of humanity. It doesn't need to be grand, it only needs to be sincere and very, very real. Look for the silent heroes in your own life. They are the ones who keep your world turning, the ones who build the bridges you walk on daily. A single silent act has a ripple effect that we cannot always see, but it changes the world in ways that words never, ever could achieve. He has found his testament. It is not written on a scroll. It is carved into the very substance of his daily, quiet, and meaningful and productive life. Beauty is the result of patience. It is the reward for those who are willing to stay in the silence until the work is finally and fully finished. The morning always comes for those who work through the night. The light will always find the results of your silent and honest and dedicated labor. The testament of the stonecutter is a message to all of us. Your actions are your legacy, and your silence is the source of your true power. So, what will you build today? Will you add to the noise, or will you start laying the first stone of your own enduring and silent bridge? The path is open, the canyon is deep, but the stones are waiting for your hand to give them a purpose and a place in history's span. Don't tell the world what you are going to do. Show the world what you have done, and let the success be the only noise people hear. The world is waiting for your contribution. Not your opinion, not your speech, but the solid result of your silent and dedicated and very focused hand. The stonecutter's work is never truly done, for every generation needs a new bridge, and every soul needs a new purpose to build for the future. So let your work be your monument. Act in silence, and let the enduring success of your character be the only noise the world ever hears.